Well, I have Slammiversary in my hands here, so we'll start with that. So this is the show that I had to go back to my car to get my notes for. And
that happened during the edited portion of this program, by the way.
And I was looking at this, my other notes before going over the show, and then these notes, I'm looking at them here, and my notes are becoming less and less useful. I'm putting less energy into them. So if I get anything terribly vague, I will share it with you verbatim, but otherwise we'll just take it as it goes.
We basically just need the basics.
The pre-show match had Eric Young and Rhino against the British Invasion. Eric Young bailed. He decided he didn't want to wrestle on the show, or he wanted to be in a pay-per-view or some bullshit. Nobody cared. This left Rhino as the Detroit hometown hero to get beaten up by both Brits, and he was saved by Jesse Neal, who has a spectacularly bad haircut. I applaud him on this I guess you'd say.
Yeah, especially since his gimmick is he's a Navy guy.
That kind of kills the gimmick, yes, but at least he does not look generic. He looks wacky. So he ran down and he demanded to be made a partner, and Don West protested this should be illegal. He said he didn't want any of this Memphis stuff in there. The ref let him be the partner. He tagged in. He was running wild. Looked all right. Crowd was going crazy. Then they pinned him. He got hit with a move, and he got pinned.
All right.
TNA, everyone.
He killed him.
So with that was our encouragement to buy the pay-per-view. So the show opened. They had a wide shot of the arena. It was the Palace of Auburn Hills. There were plenty of good seats still available. This wide shot made it abundantly clear how empty the place was. Opener was Suicide, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Jay Lethal, and Consequences Creed in the 5-way King of the Mountain X Division match. They had Curtis Granderson there from the Detroit Tigers to hold the belt, and he also did commentary, and he was enthusiastic, he was knowledgeable, and he was well-spoken, so Curtis Granderson on commentary was a win. That worked out great for everyone. The usual wacky, insanity, crazy collection of spots. There was a bit where 3 guys went for a pin, and the ref counted the pin, and then was not sure who should be legal, so the referee was confused by the rules. Then there was a bit where the machine guns went to climb the ladder, and the ref had to tell them, wait, no, you're not eligible yet. So they were confused by the rules. And then it almost became worth it, because the machine guns were working together, so they knew you had to pin someone, or they figured out that you had to pin someone to be eligible, so they just pinned each other. Sabin laid down, Shelley pinned him, Sabin then complained of a tights pull, which was awesome. Then he went to the cage while Shelley tried to win. So that was good. This is wrestlers being smart, which is always nice. There was a lot of insane stuff. What's his name? Jay Lethal was perched on a ladder on the top rope. When the ladder thing got catapulted, it sent Jay going through the sky, and he almost died. That was very scary. Cool idea, kind of stupid in execution. There was a Sabu chair spot. They did the Sabu chair spot, I believe it was Shelley, but he pointed to the sky like Sabu first just to let everyone know he was ripping it off. And then earlier, the 2 tag teams, which were Creed and Lethal and the Machine Guns, they worked together. Then they all got together for a big 4-man Los Guerreros huddle. That was awesome. So, good tribute to other wrestlers there. If you're going to steal their stuff, I guess you may as well acknowledge it. They did a Sabin and I believe it was Lethal or Creed, but one of them did a big flying elbow onto a ladder bridge. The ladder did not break. It looked like both guys died. That sucked. Consequences, Creed did a big flip dive. Whoever was supposed to catch him didn't. He landed. That looked like it sucked. He basically rolled up to a seated position and screamed, "Oh my God!" Probably hated life. And after all this, eventually, let's see. I did not write down the winner. Suicide won, didn't he? I seem to recall Suicide winning.
He won.
He won, yes. So he took care of his opposition. He climbed the ladder. He won. He hung the belt. He won. The Suicide character still seems to be fresh. It's way too early to unmask him or anything. So at least he still won. That's good. So a very fun opener. I believe you gave this 3.5 stars, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yes, I did.
Seems perfectly reasonable to me. We had a Shane Douglas promo. It was his promos in the week or two he's been back have been very good. This is another very good one. He basically said that he would win, only he's a better promo than me, so it's more exciting. Sadly, he then had to wrestle, and he got hurt here, so I do feel bad about noting how funny it was when he was running, but now I know it's not just that he was fat and clumsy, he was actually injured. That being said, there was a point here where Daniels was making his comeback, and Douglas couldn't get up to his feet, and it's not that he could not stand on his injured ankle, it's that he was laying on his back and not even bothering to sit up. So that looks very bad, but what can you do? Daniels hit the best moonsault ever and won. It was a bad match, but it was nothing horrible in the long run, I guess. There's worse things in this life to be concerned with. There's an interview with Mick Foley. He thought Jeff Jarrett was going to be on his side for Christ knows what reason. I guess he threw a party for him on Impact. It was stupid. He said he would defend the title tonight, and then again 16 months later. And then he was sang and dance, and Foley is
a clown.
Yeah, as a champion, by the way.
Yeah,
as the and not even the secondary title. Like the Honky Tonk Man was the Intercontinental Champion. Mick Foley's the TNA Champion, the focus of the company, and he's a goof. So that's stupid. Okay, here's a point where my notes fail me. The match was Tara, formerly known as Victoria, against Angelina Love. I will read this in its entirety. No heat for heat. Then Love wins after Hairspray.
What more is there to say?
That's all I was moved to write.
What more is there to say? The match was 3 minutes long.
Apparently nothing. So that's all I had to say about that. Then my notes read Raven promo. Fortunately, I recall this because Raven went absolutely insane.
This was the best thing on the whole show.
It probably was. Well, no, the opener was good, but this is the funniest thing on the whole show. He got his promo, and like Shane Douglas, he's been cutting good promos since he came back, and he's cutting this good promo about how he and Abyss are there's no hope for them. They're hopelessly addicted to pain, but there's one chance for redemption, and he's spouting all this bullshit. And then he does his quote the Raven nevermore thing, and he strikes his pose, and then he starts to cackle and cackle and cackle. Then he hugs Dr. Stevie, and then he weeps for a bit. And it just kept going was the best part. They just left the camera on him as he emoted for a while. So that was good. Then we had the match. It was Raven and Daphne versus Abyss and Taylor Wilde in a Monsters Ball match, which basically means you can just do whatever the hell you want. You'll recall... Actually, wait, before I need to know here. As they were doing the entrances, Taylor Wilde came out, and her music's this perky song, and she came out with this violent death match. And she came out, and her song's playing, and she does her wacky little pose, and she's got her new gear on, which is like a swimsuit, and she looks all happy, and is very upbeat thing. And then she tried to change moods, tried to get serious for the war she was about to enter. So that failed. So you'll recall they're building on Impact. We can't show you men beating up women here on Impact because Spike won't allow it. But if you buy the pay-per-view, you'll get to see guys beat up chicks. So that was the hook of this whole match, was man and woman violence. So Abyss squashed Daphne about a minute in. He threw her into the turnbuckle. He hit a big avalanche. He whomped her. There was your payoff. They did a whole lot of brawling. They did some really stupid spots. Outside the ring, Daphne jumped on Abyss's back, and he threw her to the ground. Her head almost hit the stairs. It terrified me. They brawled through the crowd for a lot. Don was complaining because he couldn't see all that was going on. The girls set up a table by the stage. Then they went through it. And to their credit, they then both of them crawled back on their hands and knees. It took them 3 minutes after this table spot. So they did not just get up and run back to the ring. So that was good. Then they were doing all these stupid stuff. Abyss got the tax. Then Stevie got a chair. Somebody got caned to the head. Daphne ended up going into the tax pretty damn soon, really. They were not out there for long, and she ate a spine buster from Taylor. And I don't know what they were trying to do. I think she's supposed to run away from Abyss, but into Taylor or something. But she was trying not to step in the tax. In the process of doing this, she stepped right into them and then took the move in the tax. So that had to suck, and it was not terribly fun to watch. And then Taylor had to cover her in the tax, and they did a bunch of other stuff. There was a cane, there was a trash can, there was a chair. And after all of this, Raven ended up taking a black hole slam into the tax for the pin. Finish looked really cool. It was a garbage match. If you like garbage matches, you probably like this one. And that's really all I have to say about that. We have a Jarrett promo. He stated clearly and plainly that he did not want to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Great. That tells me I should not care about this either. But he said it was very important that that Foley not be champion, because then Jarrett would have control. Wouldn't Foley still be the majority shareholder of the company?
Let's not analyze these storylines.
All right. I just want to explain to me why the champion of TNA has power.
Vince, this has never been explained. This is the storyline forever.
I still want to know.
You'll never get an answer because they don't have one.
Yeah. We had Matt Morgan versus Sting. Everything was going along just fine until there was just some major league botchery. I blame Morgan. Others, I guess, I blame Sting. Maybe if I watch it again, I would change my mind. Regardless, it sucked. It was supposed to be a suplex reversed in the Scorpion Death Drop, and it did not work. They both fell down. So then Sting tried to do the Death Drop again, and Morgan still couldn't take it. That's why I blame him for the fuck-up before. And then finally, Sting hit a Scorpion Death Drop off the second rope for the win. Not good. It was fine up until that one point, and then just fell apart, and there was no recovery from there. But again, there are worse things in life to worry about. So we had AJ and Joe cutting a promo together. AJ vowed there was time for the originals, which Joe's not one of. It was time for the originals to take over again. Even Jeff Jarrett wouldn't be in their way, even though as the founder, I guess wouldn't he be the ultimate original? I guess not. So Joe said that, yeah, he had AJ's back, which is Carney for I'm going to screw you in the main event. 3D versus Beer Money. A good match that I basically just felt like I had seen about 16 times now. That's really all I have to say about the match itself. The British Invasion came out to interfere for no good reason. Bubba Ray Dudley hit a plancha off the top rope to the floor onto this man. I could not believe this. It actually happened. This was the ultimate flying fat guy move. Doug Williams got put through a table at some point, and then finally Beer Money hit their move and won. And here's a point that my notes closed with something that pretty much sums up my feelings. Too much stuff going on for something I don't care about. Kurt Angle cut a promo. He has grown out his stubble and grown a short beard. My first thought was, wow, he looked awful. Then I realized he had at least it looked like he had just not showered or shaved in a week. And on closer inspection, he's like shaved the top of the beard on his cheeks and he shaved his neck. So he's just grown it out. And I'm going to give it a chance. You noted it was not a flattering look in the newsletter you said. I thought it was different. If I will give it a month, and if it still looks ugly in a month, then I'll say so. But right now, it's just different. So they had the match. It was Jarrett versus Kurt Angle versus Mick Foley versus AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, and the really, really stupid King of the Mountain match. I'm going to skip straight to the finish here. The finish was Joe turning on everyone and helping Kurt Angle win. And then the Mafia came out, Nash and Steiner and Booker and Sharmell, and they all applauded. So I guess Samoa Joe's in the Mafia now. He is a former world champion, so it makes sense that way at least. But as you recall, he spent the last month trying to kill these men. He put a trash can on Scott Steiner's head and hit it with a stick so badly that Bryan and I were screaming. And he hit Booker T in the belly with a stick, and he made Booker T bleed. And then he spent all this match beating the hell out of Kurt Angle, including giving him a suplex onto a ladder. And apparently this was all part of their plan. It's all part of the plan to swerve people. And it begs the question, if you have Samoa Joe on your side anyway, why don't you just fight together throughout the entire match? Why would you do a swerve?
Don't know.
I don't know either. So, yeah. And Jeff, meanwhile, whose mission he stated his mission was to get the title off Mick Foley. So why, when, for example, AJ Styles would climb the ladder, why would Jeff pull him off? Shouldn't he have been pushing the AJ up there to get the title?
The whole
off
thing
Mick
was stupid.
Foley?
It makes no sense.
Yeah. So there's other stupidity in this. I forget what.
Yeah,
now,
forget it. Let's move on to UFC. No one cares.
Yeah. So that was
one guy on our board cares about TNA.
Yeah, that was a waste of my life.
Back body drop. Oh, leads to Creed over the top of the sensational flip dive.
All this right now while Alex Shelley in the penalty box, and keep in mind, none of the guns